So because the wording has changed slightly, we wanted to be able to show people that this was the consent form or the notification that I get as the host. So it's our legal responsibility to alert you to the fact that this session will be recorded, and if you do feel uncomfortable with that, we suggest two options. One would be to turn your monitor off, and the other one, if you do feel really uncomfortable, then please contact us and we can send you the video link. So I'd like to welcome you, if I can get back to that one. I'm having trouble here with two screens and me. It's okay. There we go. Don't start now. So welcome to the second event for our summer series, and we are reusing this fabulous resource that the global GEG leaders put together, I think, in under a week. Someone had an idea, then by the end of the week it was published. So it was really important to be able to give people an opportunity to develop, beginner skills. And I've watched all the series, of course, and I've found some really great ideas and been reminded of some great features. So without further ado, I'm going to start with, and I'll go back one because I'm having trouble. It's only me. We go. Sorry. As Australians here, we like to acknowledge country before we commence an event, whether we are face-to-face or virtual. So it's a way that all Australians can show respect for the culture, the heritage and ongoing relationship that the First Nation people have with country, this place that we are in right now. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land. We show our respect for the elders, past and present, who have loved and cared for this land for thousands of years. So we welcome you to our summer series, and please drop your name and your Twitter handle in the chat. I started off a bit earlier, but I'd like Maria to introduce herself.
Hi guys, I'm Maria Etheridge. I'm from Lakes Entrance, Victoria, STEM primary teacher, Google Innovator, #Sydney19, GEG leader for Lakes Entrance and Bairnsdale, and certified innovator and trainer.
Yes, I'm Leslie Altman. I'm a digital learning mentor in New South Wales, Australia. I'm GEG leader for Mid-North Coast, Australia. My Twitter handle is there. It's also in the chat. I'm a certified trainer. I'm a Google for Education certified innovator, and just recently, and I didn't put my badge on there, a certified coach. So I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm also co-founder of Global GEG, as well as as I said, the privilege of being a leader here in Mid-North Coast, Australia. So just go over a few little norms that we like to just cover. We're all here. We're sharing the air. Please use names in the chat, or because we're a small group, we'll probably be turning our microphones on. Keep the conversation and the chat on the topic, and we all assume best intentions. Now, our agenda here is, let me see. So this is what we hope to do in under 60 minutes. We're just going to quickly remind you of what a GEG is and what the heck we're on about, and what is Global GEG. And we're going to do what's called a fishbowl. And I'm sure you know what that is, but we're doing a virtual fishbowl. So we're not putting pressure on people to engage in the chat, but we're going to just try this a little bit differently and see if this works for you. So hopefully we're going to be able to get through those tasks in under 60 minutes. So Maria, would you take us through very quickly what the heck is a GEG?
Okay, so GEG stands for Google Education Group. Basically, it's building on a PLN, building a network that is local, but it can expand out from there with like-minded individuals that are wanting to enhance their EdTech, empowering each other, other educators using EdTech in whatever their setting is.
Absolutely. And this is where we are all over the world.
Do you like the fact that we put the little badge in the corner now that says global?
I know. I was going to say that. I was going to say that, Chris. And just very briefly, Global GEG, we're not in charge of GEG. Mei Zhu is the manager of GEGs, but we 6 innovators got together and tried to help each other become GEG leaders, and other people said, you know, what are you doing, and can I learn a bit from you as well? So we muddled our way through, and then in the end we decided to group together. We called ourselves Global GEG, and yes, there, Chris, there it is. We're supposed to have a location of which country we're in, and because we are quite a global group, there it is there. So before we get started, Chris, very, very pleased that you were able to come. Chris said, look, if there's anything that you want me to do, just please tell me. And I said, just come. That'd be great. So Chris Betcher is Program Manager, his G Suite adoption here in Australia and New Zealand. And we're really, really pleased to see you here straight after your tripping around New South Wales.
No worries. I nearly came to visit you.
I could see. I thought, oh my God, that's Port Macquarie there.
I know. I passed the turn off to your place, and I went, should I? Because it was pouring rain at the time, and I'm on a motorbike, and I thought,
I know, you should have. You should have. I'm disappointed you didn't say, look, I'm on a motorbike, I'm coming.
Oh, well, next time.
Next time. Okay, then. Well, today we asked people to have a look at those beginner series videos, and I've just dropped them in the chat link. It's okay if you haven't watched the whole videos, but they are nice, short, simple videos that we are asking people to just have a look, do a bit of flipped learning. Pedagogy here, and if you haven't looked at them fully, the link is in the chat, and please share them with your staff. So what we are hoping to do is, let me see, so Maria, do you want to outline what we're going to try and offer here in this session?
So basically with the Fishbowl, which is a new experience to me as well. Thank you, Leslie. So Leslie and I will have a bit of a discussion, focus on each individual one. We'll have a bit of a fishbowl, which means we'll have a discussion. You guys will be on the outside, and then we'll throw the challenge to you guys for some input if there's any questions, or if you want to see something live, a live demonstration of a certain part of either calendar, Gmail and tasks. So we'll do that individually each time.
Okay, all right. Let's see if we can get started. So the first Fishbowl event is a focus on Google Mail and Gmail. And I had a look at that video that Pili and Abid had presented. It was about an hour long, that presentation. They did it really well. Mm-hmm. Pili is a GEG leader from Mexico. She's also a global GEG leader. And Abid is from UK. He's a GEG leader in UK and also co-founder of Global GEG. And they went through quite a lot of nice basic information and I thought, well, yeah, there's a few things that I'd like to work on as well. So on a Mario scale of 1 to 9, how confident do you feel about using Gmail from 1 to 9? Pop it in the chat. And then, you know, sometimes Gmail scares people because there's so many features, but the features are there to help us to improve our productivity and integrate with all the other G Suite apps. So I'm going to have a quick look at the two of the topics that Pili and Abid had brought up for Gmail: sending and replying to an email and searching tools. So let's see if I can swap this around, pull this down. Where is it? There it is there. That's it there. All right, here's my Gmail. Maria, can you see that? I just swapped those around. I don't know what I did with the other one, but I'll find it soon enough. So this is a fairly new, Gmail account, and I've sent this Gmail account a few emails. So of course they're in bold, which means that I haven't opened them yet. There are a couple of different categories along here. I've left these categories. We can change them in the settings, and the settings are always the gear icon. Always look for the gear icon if you wanted to change. So I'm going to have a look here in social. Not really interested in all of those. So if I click the top and I click the bottom and hold shift down as I click, I've done a multi-select. I want to multi-select those, and hopefully I can trash them from there. And I've just cleaned up. So I've just done a little bit of digital housekeeping there. So sending an email is really easy. Click on the compose or the plus sign, and I'm going to send, see if I can send one to Maria. It doesn't recognize it yet because it's a brand new one. So what is it? Etheridge?
Yep, .Maria. Gmail.
Maria, that's it, looks like it, at gmail.com. Now, this is a pet peeve of mine. I'm going to add this into this little synopsis of Gmail. Sometimes you email someone who is perhaps Chris. You know, you might email Chris Betcher, and he might get 700 to 1,000 emails a day or every few days. So if you typed in, hey, if you just typed in here, sorry, not that one. So if you typed in here, hey, it really doesn't pertain to anything in the topic. But if you change this and said GEG, maybe global GEG meeting, you know, 26th of January. So immediately, you know, Chris could be looking through all his Gmail, everything that's in his inbox, and he might scan through. I don't know how this is what I would do, scan through and find the people that I need to respond to very quickly. And I'll look at that and I'll realize I need to respond to that one fairly quickly. Also, in the, you know, this area here is the content. This is the body of the email. The content really needs to be only about the subject. Don't put PS when you're riding by on your motorbike, come by, because he may not look at that for 2 months and then he's realised he's missed an invitation. That's right. So do be very careful about, you know, certainly I made a mistake in the recipient. Make sure that it's going to the right place. Do make sure that the subject line is very clear, and also that the content is pertaining to that subject line. Don't forget you can schedule an email. So if you think of something at 10 o'clock at night and you want to be able to get your boss's attention, and you know he or she gets on the email at 7:30 in the morning, maybe that's their time. And rather than lose your email overnight in another lot of emails that he or she has got, as I said, overnight, you can schedule that for 7:30 in the morning simply by clicking schedule send. And of course I haven't got a recipient, so I'll just put someone else in there now. Okay, all right. And it's really good because if you have made a mistake, it will show you the error message that you can't do some of these actions. It will give you by default tomorrow afternoon, or I can pick a date and a time, and I really want my boss to see this on the 18th, not at 3:18, maybe at 7 a.m. And then I can schedule a send, and it will sit quietly there until I can send that. And don't forget you can edit those as well, so don't worry about making a mistake. Also, if you need to add a file, you can add it from your desktop. I'm just going to find my desktop here, and I can add a PDF. Now, sometimes when you send an email and you say, I've attached the PDF, and you send it and you think, oh no, I didn't attach the email. So what you can do is help yourself right now is by going to settings. I'm just going to minimize that. I'm going to look.
Before you do that, can I just jump in and show one little thing?
Yeah.
Can you go back to the message you were about to send?
Yeah, there.
Yeah, just write in the message, please see the attached file.
I can't spell. E-A.
Right, and then remove the attachment you've got.
Okay. All right. I'm going to remove that now.
Now, if you press send now, I hope this doesn't make a liar of me. There you go. It'll say, see attached, but there is nothing attached. So it actually is kind
That's
of a
good.
little smart thing going on there. That
is a
trying to make
smart
sure you
thing.
won't be dumb.
Thank you for that. That's the beauty of the Fishbowl. I'm blurbing on here, and Chris can see that I can improve that message to you. That's really good because I haven't seen that. Sometimes I will, yeah, I think if we write in there, please see the attached file. I like that.
Yeah.
It'll pick it up. That's good. Thanks, Chris.
No worries.
I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to go into settings, and here's my second safety net. In settings, I'm going to go down to undo send. Now, I've got up to 30 seconds to remember that I haven't attached that file that I've forgotten. You know, as I said, I've forgotten to attach it. I haven't written please see attached file or PDF. So if I set this to 30 seconds, I can retrieve that email very quickly. I'll go back to here. So if I didn't have that, see what happens if I attach the file. Whoop. I've attached the file there, and then I send it, and then I'll be able to, I've forgotten how to do that now. I've got to go back. Send.
The black thing down the bottom.
Oh, there it is there, undo send. Oh, it's too late now.
Now that's the dirty little secret that a lot of people don't realize with undo send is when you
Open.
undo send, and you can have up to 30 seconds, but that if you click away from the email in that 30-second period, it cancels it and it just sends it immediately.
That's it. I'm just going to okay that. Yes, I did. I did right away from that.
I'm just going to say that's something I learned from watching the video earlier today.
Oh,
how to make it 30 seconds.
Yes, excellent. So just that was a few little basic using the features for Gmail. If I wanted to put all of my GEG inbox emails, I could create a new label. So I'm going to call it GEG. I won't call it that. I'm not going to nest it under anything at the moment. Now what I can do is I can drag that into my label, which is there. I can color it. I like colors. I like to be able to see it quickly. I can drag it into there every time an email comes in, or I can open this email up and then I can go to the filter messages like these. And it's a bit like a sieve. Some things go through to the bowl and other things don't. So we need it to go through to that label. So I can filter the message like that. If it's from there, I can create that filter and I can skip the inbox, which I did for a while, but then I found it really difficult because I wasn't looking at the work that was coming in my inbox. I can have it deleted. I can send it off to the to that label there that I've created. So there are a lot of great tips that can help your productivity. So I think that's pretty much all of my things that I can minimize there and bring back up. So Chris has already challenged me. So what would you like to do?
Can I throw some things in there? Because I live in email. Like,
absolutely.
I have lots of email tips. And if you haven't watched it, I'd recommend go and Google the name Merlin Mann, M-E-R-L-I-N-N. Sorry, Merlin like the magician, man with two N's.
So I'm going to put it in the chat. M-E-R-L-I-N-N.
M-A-N-N. So Merlin Mann is a productivity guru. He's a very funny guy, and he writes a lot of stuff about productivity and organization. And he did a talk at Google a few years ago called Inbox Zero. And if you've never seen it, I really recommend you go and watch this talk.
I will.
And if I can summarize Inbox Zero to you, good on you, Mel. The Inbox Zero concept means in a perfect world, at the end of every workday, you'd have nothing in your email at all. It'd be completely empty. And the idea of it is that when something comes in, you either action it, you have to action it in some way. So you read it and then delete it, or maybe you read it and then delegate it by forwarding it to someone, or maybe you read it and then take action on it immediately. But whatever it is, as email comes in, the idea is you action it somehow.
Yes.
Even if sometimes actioning just means to star it so you can come back to it. And
absolutely.
Maybe
Yeah, we put ourselves through a challenge like that with Global GEG, and I've got 9 Gmail accounts. I got 4 of them inbox. Got 4 of them inbox. I'm multi-ID here. I've got 4 of them inbox 0, and it's so calm to be able to see nothing there because I'd actioned it. It's in, so I've either trashed it, I've either placed it into a folder. I've either started it, so it's sitting in a folder that I must look at tomorrow morning. That's my work already set out tomorrow morning. So
Correct.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's just so lovely to, it's like tick a box. Everything's done.
Yeah, exactly. And like Mel just said, she's got 15. I think I've just come back from holiday, so mine's a bit out of control. But I've probably got no more than about 20 actionable emails sitting in my inbox, and that's it. And that's how it should be. And you feel completely overwhelmed when your inbox becomes like really crowded and there's all this stuff you haven't read. So to make it easier to get to that point, what I recommend to people is go into your settings in Gmail and turn on keyboard shortcuts if they're not already turned on.
Yep.
Right. And then just learn a couple of keyboard shortcuts. So a couple of things I'd recommend people do in their email is when you read an email and then you close it, you have an option about what happens next.
Mm.
So if you've got a list of emails and you click on one to open it and then you close it or delete it or whatever, like what happens next? Do you see the email that was the one above it in the list or the one below it in the list, or do you just go back to the list? And so you can set yours the way you like. For me, it's always I want to see the previous one. Oh, sorry, the next one time-wise, the one above it.
That's right.
But some people might do different things. So you turn that on, then you turn your keyboard shortcuts on, and you learn the keyboard shortcut. So to trash something is the hash key. So Shift-3 with the hash on top. Remember, hash rhymes with trash. So if you want to delete an email, Shift-3, hash. If you want to keep an email, you just move on to the next one with either the J or the K keys. If you want to archive an email, it's the E key. If you want to star an email, it's the S key. Like just learn those handful of keyboard shortcuts and you can whiz through your email. You just go bang, 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 done.
Yeah. And it's so good with any of the apps to be able to just learn 3 or 4 keyboard shortcuts to help your productivity and then build on those. And what I did when I saw Mel said she had 20,000. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. And then I panicked because I thought, I've got, I'm not going to live that long to get through. Like it was like 40,000 emails. So what I did is in the filter at the top of the Gmail, I put a date, 2017. And then I listed all of those. I multi-selected them and I pushed them into a folder marked 2017. And then I did 2018. Then I did 2019. And then I started working on 2020 and then dividing them all up. So I could still, instead, if I trashed them all, and I searched for someone's email that they may have sent me 18 months ago, I may have lost it if I trashed it. So I did. I just parked it. It made me feel better. It's just I just parked it.
You're more organised than I would be. I would just go select all emails, archive.
I did that from 2016.
Email bankruptcy.
2016 back to 2012. I trashed them. Yeah, I don't need to know that. I don't need to know what happened back then. Yes, I did trash those. I just had to work on the other ones. Okay, all right then. So if we go to the next one, which is calendar. So we are now going to focus on calendar. So we've both looked at a few points. What do you feel about your Google Calendar, about creating and sharing? 1 to 10, a Scooby-Doo. Richter scale there. How do you feel about creating and sharing Google Calendar? Pop your 1 to 10 in the chat. It's a 9. Yes, I'd say you might be a little surprised after you came back from holidays. Thanks for getting on to mine so quickly. So I'm going to go to the next one. And so what we're going to look at is why use Google Calendar. How do you create an event? And Maria's going to look at how you create additional calendars and how you can share a calendar. So Maria, do you want, I'll stop presenting here. So do you want to have a go there first? I'll stop presenting and then you can come on.
Okay.
See, and we've all got
I'm
these
just going to go my
computer issues and stuff happening. And so that was great. Thanks, Chris, because you really, made us think a little bit more, because, we never stop learning, never stop sharing.
Someone asked a question in the chat before, I think it was Mel, about how many emails do people get a day? I'm intrigued by knowing what the answers to that would be.
Depends if it's a corporate email, depends if you're running a big company.
My work one is not as busy as my personal one. My personal one's out of control.
So I know my previous boss said that he would get 700 to 800 emails a day, but he did subscribe to blogs and so forth.
Yeah.
And that's where I learnt to be succinct. That's where I learnt to create that subject line that alerted him to, what I needed. So how many on average would you get in your role as Google Program Manager, Chris?
It really varies. I don't know, 100.
Yeah.
Is that because Google Meet has now stepped up more and you do more on-the-spot communication rather than email?
A lot of those are just things like, an email telling me, someone shared a document with you, or, someone, filled in a form that I've got or something. A lot of it would be notification type emails. Actual informational type emails, probably 50 or 60, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to just quickly show you how to add a calendar, any additional calendars. So you can see here I have a few little calendars. All you need to do is at the bottom, that plus sign, go to other calendar, and you have the option to create a new calendar. It is that simple. You can also see here that you can also import calendars, subscribe to calendars. So in my other identity, I have subscribed. Actually, I think I imported from a URL the Victorian Department of Education. So their holidays and also curriculum days for my work calendar. So that was pretty cool. The other thing, how to share a calendar. I don't need to go any further than that, guys. Do you understand how to create a calendar? Click on there, name it, description. That's simple. Then click on create calendar.
I find it really handy to put something in that description. If I'm pulling people together for an event, and even if I create a calendar event for me that I'm going to, when I was traveling around the diocese and going to places, I'd have the phone number for the place I was staying at and the address for the school. So it was all kind of in one place. So it's really handy to fill that description in.
Yeah, when I was CRT, so that's casual relief teacher, and maybe other states, I don't know what you call it. I create a calendar for all the schools that I CRT'd at, and I had a description in there as well, alerting them so they could see where I was booked out already, but I didn't give them access to be able to make the bookings because I didn't want them to accidentally cancel someone else's booking. Okay, the other thing I'm going to demonstrate is how to share a calendar. So if I go back to here, I've got to remember this myself actually. Settings and sharing. So you right click or you double tap on the three little dots or the snowman if you refer to it as that. Go to settings and sharing, and then you can choose people just like you would say an email. You can add people or anything Google really if you're sharing a file, etc., and just add people to your calendar.
Now, you guys have already figured this out, but one thing I will mention, if I may, is Leslie just said before she's got like 9 Gmail accounts. And
yes.
that's a problem, Leslie. You need to see someone about that. But
Okay.
many of us have more than one. We've got our work one and maybe just a Gmail account or something, right? And something that I think is a really good idea to do is in your personal Gmail, you'd have a calendar in your personal Gmail that's like your personal calendar, where you put doctor's appointments and holiday appointments or whatever, and then you'd have your work calendar in your other account. And what I suggest you do is you go into your work account and share that calendar with your personal account, and then go into your personal account and share that calendar with your work account. And in both cases, set yourselves the highest level of permission that you're allowed, which, if you're lucky, will be ability to view and edit.
Yes.
And then it doesn't matter which account. And if you've got 9 accounts like Leslie does, you can do this to all of them and share everything with everything, right? And then it means no matter what account you're in, if you're in your work account, but I got to remember to, doctor's appointment, you can put it in while you're in your work account, even though you're not in your personal account. So
yeah, that's a really good point, Chris, because it is important. I've got, once you've got your work account, your private account, and I've got the GEG Mid North Coast, I've got the global GEG, and I've got we've developed an ET one and an EC one, and you really can't be going back and forth so many times to find out what's happening. But if you have shared across all accounts, one person is the owner and the other 5 or 6 are, as Chris said, at the highest level, then you are able to see what's going on in the world on one screen.
A good idea, Leslie. You could go to Google Groups, create a Google group that contains all of your 9 personalities, and then you could share your calendars with the Google group. So you don't have to do it manually.
I love it. Oh dear. So that's great, Maria, and that's taken it to the next level of sharing.
Yeah,
and giving people permission.
Correct. So you can do a shareable link as well, but yeah, probably the most common way is to add people.
And I use the notification. I'm going to put. I'll show you when I have a few moments to show a creating event. I rely on notifications. I need them.
Same. Yeah, I need the little pop-up.
Okay, then. Is there anything else that you have for? You've got your sharing. You've got created additional calendars.
Yeah, they were the 2 areas I was.
Okay. Well, I'll quickly have a look at my calendar here, and I'm going to present here, over here, and share. And I'll get out of that one, drag it down here a bit, and I've lost it.
I'm just popping out for a second, but I'll be back.
Beautiful.
I got to move my car. My son's going to work and I'm in the way.
Oh no. Okay then. So I've lost the other. How do I bring up another calendar that I had, and I've lost it here on the screen? Probably can't see it because of the sign here about. I can hide that. I might be able to find it here. Sorry. We'll probably be ready by the time she comes back. Here we go. Found it because I had too many things open. All right. So I'm just going to pop over here to my calendar here. And I don't know whether you know this or not, but this is annoying. This is a fairly new account for me, and this is annoying. I don't want my maps up the top. I want my drive up the top, so I can click and drag those things around. I like YouTube up pretty high there. And of course, here's my Gmail. I need it up the top. These are the ones that I work with a lot. So I'm going to open up Calendar and I can create a new event in a number of ways. I can go to click create and I get my options there. And it's just welcome me. Thank you very much. I got it. Yes, I've got all of those things. I know that. So I can click on create and go through that format, or another very quick way is to, and I've probably just slowed everything up there, is to go to that particular time and date there and click on that space, double click, and it'll open it up into the same screen. I can give my might have appointment there. I can choose my date. I can choose my time here, and I can choose the finishing date. It might go for 2 days long, so I can change that date here as well. It might be an all day, which means I do not need a specific time. And if I want it to repeat weekly on a Thursday, I can click that and it will continue on for as many Thursdays as I nominate, or I can choose a custom setup there. So if I clicked on the Thursday, I can add, excuse me, I can add a Google Meet. I can add a location if I'm having a physical meeting. And here in the description, as I said, I really do like to add descriptions in there. Adding the guests here, I can add guests. And when I add that person, I can allow that guest to invite other people, or I can turn that off. I can allow all guests to see the guest list, or I can turn that off. Notifications, here it is. I need a notification and I can put 2 on. I can get an email and I can add another notification here and have one as an email, one as a sign that comes across my computer. I can change this to so many minutes beforehand, or so many hours or days. I often give myself a day's notice that tomorrow, don't forget, you've got to do this. And then I save it. Now watch what happens when I save it. It's going to ask me if that calendar guest needs to have that invitation. Well, normally 99% of the time you would do that unless you go back and make a few changes to the description, and otherwise that person will get 3 or 4 emails. I've done that before. So I'm going to send it this time, and that person will get that notification just like you did in your email. So that's pretty much all I wanted to do. Were there any questions? All of you people watching, any questions, any advice, any tips? How do you use calendar?
Go,
Sharon?
Yeah. I'm looking into getting our teachers at school to use it, calendar. I don't even know if people are using it, as I said earlier on. So what should I do first? Like, you know, I'm trying to think of ways to improve productivity amongst the staff at school and things like that. I'm just wondering where I should start.
You did really well with those little, I'll let Chris talk in a minute, but let me jump in. Sharon did some really great things and having little prizes. If someone actually clicked on that link, if someone tried something out, they could come to her office or desk and collect their little prize. And people were saying, how come they got a prize? Oh, they actually turned that on. Oh, well, I might do that. So that's, I know Sharon does that, and I wanted to jump in and remind you, Sharon, that was a really good tip. Chris?
When I was working in a school and we installed G Suite and I was trying to get all the teachers to sort of start using their calendar, one of the pushbacks I got from some teachers, especially the ones in senior management, was, I don't want people seeing what I'm doing. I don't want people seeing, like, and I kind of get that, because it's like, I think it's a little bit overprotective. But you know, if you're trying to collaborate, if you've got an organization of people and you're actually working together, then it actually helps if you can see what each other's doing. If you really don't want that, you can actually set your calendar to only show whether you're free or busy and not necessarily what you're doing. But what it means, can I share my screen for a sec?
Yes, please. I was expecting that. That's why I got out of it.
Let me share a tab. Yeah, I'll do this. I am in my Google account, so hopefully there's nothing in here that I'll have to kill you about.
NDAs. Most of us are signed NDAs anyway.
Yeah, except you're recording this.
Oh.
No, I don't think it's anything particularly so there's my calendar for the week, right? And you can see I've got a few things on, a few gaps and pieces. Let's say I'm trying to have a meeting with Swan, for example, who you know, right? Yes. So I can go in here and say search for people, and I can type in Swan and pop his name up there, and in a matter of seconds, it will actually populate my calendar with his calendar. So I can see if I'm trying to organize a meeting with someone, like, you know, I wanted to do it here at, 12:30 on the Thursday. That's no good. He's having a meeting with someone else. I'll have to move it to.
That is great. I didn't realize that.
And the more people you put in there,
you've shared your calendar with each other, so you have access to it.
Correct, yeah. And so I just changed to sort of week view, month view, and so on. And if I turn Swan off by clicking on that, then it will actually take his stuff away from mine again. And so, you know, I think the ability to do that, to really collaborate with people, to be able to make appointment times. Now, just if I just go back to, where am I? What have I done?
You're out of office anyway.
I think your crux one
Oh,
is.
yeah, right. I changed to the wrong dates. The other way you can do it is, let's say I want to create an appointment in there, right? So I click on that, and what's my computer doing? There you go. It pops that up, and it should pop up a little message now. There it is. So I can create, you know, event. And do that. Now, if I want to see if the people that I need to share with, so say I now, sorry, I'll go back into that event, and I add, so I add a second person here. Now let's add Kimberly. Right. So I add Kimberly in there. So I'm having a meeting with me and Kimberly Hall, right? But I know, oh, is she actually available? The other place I can do it over here is find a time. You can, as soon as you add a second person, you get this option here to find a time. And when you click on that, what it does is it puts her calendar and my calendar next to each other, or overlays our calendars, so I can actually see when we're free or not. So there's sort of two ways you can do it. But I'm just going to stop sharing that.
That's excellent, Chris, because I didn't realise those two features were available.
The real power of calendars is when you start collaborating with them. Like, it's all very well to have your own calendar, but if you just like keeping track of your own events, you may as well do it on paper. There's no specific power in the computer to do that. It's when you can see what other people are doing and be able to collaborate together, that's when it gets really powerful.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you so much, Chris. I didn't realise that. That's great. I'm going to try that later on.
We actually did that in our school during remote learning. I got everyone to share their calendars with the leadership team for that purpose. And if any parents needed to call in because they need extra support during remote learning, they could check their calendars and organise that.
The other thing that kept people out at my school was when I did eventually convince some of our leadership to use this shared calendar thing, we had it set up so if you were a staff member, you could actually see the events that other people had. But if you're a student, you could only see free busy.
Okay.
So a student could see if a teacher was available at a certain time, but didn't know what the teacher was doing. But you've got to make sure people are aware that different people have different permissions. And just because one of their colleagues says to them, oh, I see you're doing exam preparation at 2 o'clock or whatever, this teacher was freaking out because she thought, well, everybody can see everything I'm doing. No, it's only the people you allow to see.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of all the G Suite apps, is that you have that control over your levels of permission, your privacy. Yep, excellent. Okay, thank you. So if I go back, I think we are now up to, I'm just going back in here. It's a bit slow. How hot's my computer? It's warm. Okay.
Tasks.
So we are now up to tasks. So it was really great. We had Dana and Stacey had presented that the calendar session. So if you haven't seen that little calendar video that they put together, go and have another check. So you've got a lot of extra information in this video, thanks to Chris. This has been great. I've learned a lot. So we are now moving on to tasks. So task is a great little opportunity to also keep track of what you're doing and set reminders. The other week on a rubber ducky scale, I think I was kind of 9, because I had a sinking feeling that I didn't know enough. And then Maria and I landed teaching beginners how to create a task. And so we learned a lot that week. So I feel as if I've moved from 9 a little bit higher up in the water, up to 4 or 3. So pop your number in the chat and see how you feel on a rubber ducky scale. Couple of 4s. one day before, 30 minutes before. Right, I see.
I
Okay,
need to allow
task.
30 minutes in case my internet connection's not working. I need troubleshoot time.
Okay, then. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you need to build that into your productivity. If you do have a bit of an issue with your connection or setting up your presentation, you need to have that notification to get your act together 30 minutes before. So I'm going to stop sharing because Maria is going to talk to us about tasks, how can they help, and how you set up a task.
Okay.
Stop presenting. I'm nearly there. I can't click on it. There, I got it.
Beautiful.
Okay.
So as I'm connecting, task is basically a digital to-do list in its simplest form. But you can do a bit more than that, but that's the crux of it. I love task because I'm a bit of a list person, so I even use it for my shopping list. And there are several ways that you can access tasks, like there is with everything with Google. There's several ways to do it. And I'm looking at the calendar right now, and you can see, Chris, what's the correct terminology for this? Is it just a taskbar down the side?
I think
you always have your key. Sorry?
I just call it the sidebar.
Okay. On the sidebar, you will notice that there's tasks, Google Keep. These two are always there. And if you're in, say, Google Keep, you will see calendar, etc. You can also access it through the waffle, the 9 magic dots, the box of chocolates. And you can also set it up through calendar. So very quickly, going to tasks. You can create your different task lists. And then you can create tasks underneath each of those task lists. So I've got just the standard. There will always be the standard my task, and then any additional ones will be your own. And so all I need to do is click on the Add Task button, and I can create a task. I can go into the editing pencil, and then I can put more details in that. So I can, if I'm thinking, oh, actually, I want that to go to a different list, I can change which list I want that to be added to. I can add a date and time, so I get a reminder from it. And I can add subtasks. So that's a real advantage if, say, you're working on a project and you could add other things that are related to that. Just say, this task, just say you call the task marketing, and then your subtask could be all the steps that you need to do for your marketing task. Okay, then the other thing is if you want to set up a task in your calendar, you go up to the Create button up here and you click on the task. And so again, you give it a title, you type correctly. Click task, you can choose your date, time, etc. And again, you can click which list you want that to be attached to, and that will turn up in your calendar. Voila.
And also you can change the color of the task as well, can't you? With the over on the left.
Here, yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
and
yep.
yeah, I like something kind of gold and eye-catching to say, what are those 4 little gold things there? Oh, that's what I need to do today.
Yes, you can. So like a lot of areas of Google as well, those 3 buttons gives you a lot of extra features or maybe customization. So when you click on there, that's where you've got your color palette to change each of them. So when you've got that clicked on task, or it will show up in the color that you've selected. Of course, you can unclick your task like anything on calendar.
Okay, thank you so much.
There's a second way to create tasks too.
Show me.
Click somewhere in the calendar.
Yes. And then go to...
And then, Why did you not get the same thing I get?
You got enterprise.
Just cancel that, Maria. Just try that again. Just drag a little box on your calendar.
Is it related to down here? No, it hasn't got the task. I was wondering if a taskbar came up.
That's interesting. I get something completely different. I wonder if it's secret Google business.
See, over on the right, you can add a task. It's already opened that up for you. See, further over.
Right.
Your screen might be a little bit cramped there, but beside that, Maria, you've got where you just closed it. You had that added. No, it wasn't that one. It was there. And see at the top, you've got add a task, so you can actually add one there. So I wonder why Chris has got it and we haven't.
No, so in my little test, I double checked that because I thought that you could do it this way as well. However, in my private Google, that was a way to do it through Create, add a task in there, or through the task sidebar, or through your 9 magic dots.
So if you go to like where it says Wednesday the 13th, if you actually click on the 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, it just jumps you to there. Actually, you just got what I was talking about. If you go to cancel that.
Yeah.
And just click once in your calendar on your calendar page somewhere there.
Somewhere there, yeah.
Okay, see that event task reminder.
Okay.
So it's just a single click, not a double.
Is that what you were doing? I knew something was different.
Okay, single click will get you straight to that bar where you can find that extra task or reminder.
And the difference between a task and a reminder, like a task will be dated for a particular time, like do something at a certain time. A reminder will be like, don't forget to feed the fish or whatever. And if you don't feed the fish that day, the reminder will move to the next day and it'll keep following you until you do it.
Until you mark it off. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a nag. That's what it is.
It is.
Yeah, but you can't add any details to it unless you put it in your title. But there's more that you can add to that in tasks.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. All right then. Okay then. So
I was going to ask a question.
Yes,
so
Sharon.
With the task, so you set it up for that, like a certain date, and then does it notify you if you set it up that way? And
I believe so.
Yeah. I get a little pop-up like I would if I was getting a reminder for even an email. I would get that task reminder as well. And I also, on my phone, I get it that way also.
A lot of the senior tasks for HSC, especially a lot of the senior tasks, they have a large emphasis on project management, especially in the design and technologies area. Huge emphasis on project management. And so getting kids to get used to the idea of using a calendar early when they're in like upper primary or like lower high school, and getting to use tasks and subtasks and be able to sort of actually break projects down into steps is a huge help when they get to senior years and they're starting to now have to think about project management in sort of more serious terms.
Well, when we did the Google Junior series, that's hard to say when you're saying it a number of times in a video, but when our global GEG founders were asked to do some of those videos, and then actually the leaders were all asked to do, we did about 70 videos for the Google Junior series, and one of them, the one that I was given, was calendars, because it was so important to teach students to to break a task down and to have those steps to and then be able to reflect on that step. So that's what I was asked to do by Google. They were asked me to focus on that. I think they gave me a basic kind of a script that I had to flesh out a bit. So that's it was so important.
It's funny with calendars. When I was with EdTech team, we were running summits. We'd often look at the agenda for a summit over the couple of days, and we try and look at what are the holes, what are the things we haven't covered yet, and then try and make some sessions for that. And I remember a couple of times we went, no one's doing anything on calendars, and I'm like, I drew the short straw. I got to do a workshop on calendars. But like honestly, once you start digging into calendars, they're fascinating and they're so powerful, and there's so much in calendars that
Yep.
most people never discover because they kind of gloss over it like, oh, I put an appointment in there, that's all I need to know.
Mm.
Yeah, also relating the connection between calendar and tasks, as you would have seen on the video, you can have something in your, something in your email, sorry, and you can drag that over to your task, like an example I have there, and it can then create a task and you can cross that off or have the reminder set for that as well.
In fact, if you just go to your email, if you've still got your email, you haven't got it open, but if you go to your email, under the 3 dots menu in your email, you can be in an email, hit the 3 dots, and one of the options will be make this a task.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can get an email about something and think, oh, I really need to action this. I need to do something, you know, whatever. Do that. It turns it into a task and adds a link back to the email in the task itself. So when you get to the task and you can't remember what it was about, you click the link, it jumps you back to the email.
Correct.
It's all very connected. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yep. And everyone would have seen from the videos as well that you can shuffle your lists around in task, as you can with those little dots that are on the side, as you can for a lot of things, even Google Slide Deck, etc. They have those dots to move around what is your priority.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thanks so much, Maria.
I'll just stop sharing.
So we've gone through, we've reflected on our learning for Gmail, for Google Calendar, and for tasks. So that's what we're trying to do, is break down the video series so we can have a look at it, reflect on it, do a little bit of teasing out of ideas. And it was great because, like Chris, you gave us so many ideas. So that was, I learned a couple of extra things there that I need to practice on. So let's have a look and see how we went. Did we keep it under 60 minutes? Yes, we just gave a quick overview of what GEGs are. And we did a virtual fishbowl of our experiments and exploration in Gmail, Google Calendar, and Google Tasks. So if this is a kind of a format that's going to help, we might stick to that. We do have a feedback form there, and Maria, are you able to drop that in the chat?
Sure.
Please, because that's the only way we can keep improving on what we're trying to do. And we've got 2 more series to go, 2 more Tuesdays, and we're going to have a look at the content that was provided by the GEG leaders in 2 a.m. time zone. That's why I didn't watch them live. I looked at them later on. But it was so good that Maria and I said, we really need to bring this to the Australian, New Zealand, and Asian time zones. So that's what we were up to. So I'm going to stop presenting now. And thank you all so much for coming. And Chris, thank you so much for your time. Because that's that's so good. I'll just stop recording now. And yep, done that and done that.